Boom. Hello, I'm Seamless, and today is Saturday, and this is the whatever live stream this is. I think it's the fifth one. I think it's the fifth one. I'll correct myself later. That's fine, because you can do that in life. And today, actually is a bit more structured than usual in the sense that I actually have an idea of what I want to do. I wanted to make an electro track, and so I'm going to start making one. And I have no idea how successful this is going to be. It's part of the reason why I stopped doing the song from scratch series, because the song started to suck. And I got real, because you make a track and you get discouraged with it, and then you don't want to work on it. That's kind of what happened to that track. I just hated it, so I didn't want to do much. But just kind of dicking around, making sounds today and stuff like that, I think can be beneficial to the overall plan of life. So this is the default FL that I opened up, nothing going on. And I have the template that starts off with this limiter on the master. And normally it's not such a good idea to have something like this on the master, but what I do is I set it to gain at 0 dB, and then I remove the attack in the head. And so what this does is it removes any kind of latency introduced as a result of the compression, but it also will compress it. It will keep it from clipping. And it'll be about as devastating as actual clipping due to the short attack and release times, but it won't actually clip, which is good for things for working in progress until we get to the part where I already made my mastering chain, which is usually around when I have something workable in the drop. All right. Not gonna tell the story of Liz. I'm okay. Was there questions? There's no questions. What? Okay. Cool. So electro track. Let's just do this. I'm gonna stick to using just stock stuff for now. And by that I mean samples, whatever, that were located in FL, because honestly, I believe they're pretty good. Probably fine. This is all very exploratory right now. I always use that snare, but I kind of want to refrain from using that snare today. Yeah, this is fine. These are all very low kinds of snares, but it will do the job for now. So insert 1, insert 2, insert 3. I can do this using the Control L function, but I'm not going to because I'm already done doing it. 1, 2, 3. It's gonna make side chaining. It's so very simple because whenever I do like a break kind of genre, like dubstep or glitch hop or 110 or whatever, when there's not just the kick and the snare happening all the time, that means I have to also sidechain the snare. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. So these are going to get routed into a bus that all come out to be just the kick, and these will get routed into a bus that will all just be the snare. I'm going to label them. Yeah. All right. So now I had an idea about what I wanted to do with the first kick. And that was to shorten it. That will do. This one similarly. It's a bit too long in the bass. Some EQ in there. Some phase cancellation happening. There it is. All right. All these kicks are weird and like stereo and stuff. Not really. Well, a little bit is fine, but like it's weird that there'd be that much stereo going on. All right, snares. Yeah, I don't like naming songs. It's like the worst part of having made a song is trying to name it. All right, so this is super duper low. It's a little better. There's also a bunch of stuff going on in the underneath the fundamental. I want to get rid of that. I'm going to do so by making a high pass in the EQ. I'm going to use the same function to create the peak at the fundamental because I want to accentuate the fundamental tone of the snare to create the snap. Not the snap, the presence of the snare is primarily a result of that. And really whatever kind of EQ that ends up happening, that will be a product of what I do with the other two snares. So this one peaks at 175 hertz. This one's not really a forceful kind of snare. This is a top. As you see, there's not even any fundamental sound in there. So this one will get used as a layer on top. And this guy is super low. So this is the fundamental, and it's at like 150 hertz. I'm just going to turn it up. Turn out too much. Until the fundamental is at 150, which is... Here, let's put this guy to 150. Or 175, was that what the other one was at? Yeah, 175. So I'm just going to move the other guy to 175 just to keep things even. This is, I guess, what people refer to as tuning your snares and stuff. Although the tuning is probably more like trying to get in tune with your actual melodic content, but I don't really give a shit about that. Oh, that one's a bit low. This guy. That's better. You saw how you saw as it became closer to the same tuning, the force kind of increased. Cool. All right, I'm gonna make a statement about dynamic range. People, it's a common content with my work, and they're not wrong. Like, I do crush the waveform and sausage everything, but I do that on purpose. Like, I know that I'm destroying my dynamic range. I do that intentionally because I like how it sounds. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. It is what I intend to do from the beginning. And if you've seen any of my other stuff about like when I do mixing and whatever, you know that I make my master chain pretty early on in the stage of creating the track. As a result, I know what my final product is going to sound like pretty much from the inception of the track. As a result, at no point is the true intention of the track destroyed by crushing the master like I do. This guy. I'm just kind of making a kind of a random pattern for the hats because what's going to happen is I'm going to introduce reverb to it, and all that we're really going to hear the hats as a result of sidechaining is just a sort of washy kind of background fuzz. So the actual pattern is not super important, but it's kind of important. The hell? Oh. Ah. do 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 do. Especially that guy is really going to contribute to the washiness of the sound. What do I want to use for reverb? I could use shimmer. I like shimmer. Let's do shimmer. That's kind of cool. And now sidechain. Ha. One of these has like a weird bounce to it. Actually, no, they don't. That's the microphone picking that up. Good to know. All right, so we got hats into here, kicks into here, and snare into here. This is the drums bus. Let's do some quick and dirty compression. Maximus. So Maximus, being a 3-band multi-band compressor, is broken up into 3 bands. So we have the low, the mid, and the high. The purpose of being able to do this is that we're able to compartmentalize how much compression we want to apply on what part of the spectrum of the audio. So, like, you know, the loudness of the bass and the low end of the kick doesn't fuck up the high frequencies, unless, you know, we wanted to, but usually we don't. So one thing, when I'm like deciding where the cut should be in the bands, I really only am paying attention to the low end to ensure that it's below the fundamental tone of the snare, so that the low band is primarily compressing the oomph of the kick, the mid band is primarily compressing the snare, and the high end is primarily compressing the clicking of the kick and the hat stuff. With the built-in analyzer, we can see that very, very plainly where the transient of the hit snare is. It's about right there. Now, these cuts aren't perfect because they're not linear phase. There is a linear phase setting that you can engage, but I don't want to do that because it introduces unnecessary latency. And as this is not the master compression, that's not something that I want to risk so far. And the cut's fine, so it's not such a big deal. And we can kind of see nicely where the hats end, like right here. So I'm going to keep that. So I'm just going to bring the kicks to 0 dB. So this first hit is actually the mid of the kick, and this high hit is the hit of the snare. I'm actually going to equalize the two of them. Like so. I'm going to turn back the release a bit, which is how long it takes this thing to go away. And then I already hear some stupids with the kick. Because I'm compressing the high end. EQ before compression, you know, still will do the job, but it won't behave like precisely the way it would if it wasn't compressing it. So that's why it behaved a little weird just then. So that clappy sound is kind of getting on my nerves. That's enough to go on. Like I'm probably gonna change the kick samples later just because they're kind of weird, but I can't tell because I'm not listening at full volume right now, so I can do the stream. So what changes I make to this after I'm done doing what I do in the stream will be interesting. So now this begins the actually I guess the interesting part, because who doesn't? I mean, drums. Come on, but now it's time for creating sounds. Oops, Alt G, make a group. Drums, unsorted, nothing. So now I'm making sounds. I liked, in general, I like to make new sounds for every song that I do. Sometimes I'll use a preset from older things, like I have a bunch, and then I'll edit them to make a new sound. But today I think I'll just make completely new sounds. And what sounds that I end up making for a thing, I usually compartmentalize it into one or two main basses that are like the ones you hear a lot, and then one like really impressive bass, like a filler kind of like interesting sound design bass, and it's usually some kind of like a vocoder thing or a resampled epic, those sorts of things. That's like one of those, and then a whole bunch of like just anywhere all over the place basses. So if this first one is going to be the main main bass, I mean, it's what I'm going for. Who knows what it might actually be, because rarely things that I intend to happen actually happen the way that I intend them to. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to make a separate sidechain bus, so that while I'm making this, I will have things properly sidechained. So let's do that, and this will get routed to the sidechain. Base 1, you are officially seeing me be more organized than I have ever been in any of my older tracks ever. Possible exception of stuff I've done with BT, because I mean, if I work with other people, I tend to be more organized, just because I know what it's like to not be able to see what's happening. And then they routinely tell me that they're mad that they don't know anything is going on in my mixer because I don't label anything. Alright, properly sidechained is properly sidechained. Looking at the chat. People talking about stuff. Not really. Questions, so I'll leave you guys to doing what you're doing. 114 viewers. Ooh, that feels good. So what kind of bass do I want to be out? Some kind of modular, like modulation to it. Like I did a cool band pass. Oh, I know what I want to do. Some kind of let's make a custom filter shape. What does this sound like? Alright, so that's a band pass. If I do this is kind of like a low pass. It's like a really wide low pass. But if I do this, that's interesting. That's got promise. So right about there is about as high as I want to ever take it. So let's map this to X. Copy value. And the max here, I'm going to paste value. And what this means is that when this is centered, it goes too far. And this is something that I routinely encounter with Harmor, where the X value, like how you actually map things with X and Y, can be a little odd sometimes. So right about there is what I really wanted. Neat. I routinely forget that I have a Twitter. Do I sometimes start with melodies? I have started with melodies in my tracks, I think, twice. And that dubstep track that was in my last How to Bass was one of those times that I started with a melody. I actually had an idea of what I wanted to do before I started the track, which is extraordinarily rare for me. Alright, so now I'm designing, I'm going to modulate X a bit. Just make some movements. I don't really care what right now. Super low. Yeah, because I actually had it at the right register. Saw me disable smooth mod just then, because I want my sharpness to be sharp. Unison, because why not? And then distortion. Well, that came off bad. I got kind of bad, kind of fast. Kind of unique sounding, but it's, I don't know, maybe this will be some kind of filler bass. So what about pegboard nerds are kind of great, gotta say. Look at an F. It's a whole half step higher than usual. This filter shape's kind of dumb. Where's that filter mask? That's what I want. Phaser. That got weird. Let's change the prism shape a little bit. Actually, just screw the shape entirely. Let's make a new one. That's the wrong line type. These are all the wrong line type. There you go. I'm Mr. Misclick today. Alright, this is fine. I also want this to not articulate shut like I've been doing. You know what, fuck this filter for a second. You know something? I might turn this into a Reese type. I'll do that by making the B part the only just the fundamental by itself, and then this guy is the one is going to be LFO. I'm going to use the phaser to LFO it. See how's this happening? Yeah. Maybe flip the ring was the wrong way to go. It's possible. Let's make this a normal low pass. Or make this a normal low pass. It's got that weird shape still because I haven't been using the weird shaped. The sound is dumb. I'm killing it. It's just totally screwing it. Nope, no more of that. Okay. Let's make a new bass. See, I really don't know what kind of bass I want to make. I just know that I want to make something cool. That's usually how I start. I don't really have a huge plan beyond just that something nice needs to happen. I could make something that's actually like sort of electro-y and actually stick with saw type. If I'm going to do that, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a static unison bass. These are the kinds of things that I usually put underneath chords. Compression. It could be kind of interesting. Oh, hey, it's missing identity. Yeah, he said he would show up. And he did. What's going on? I'm trying to make a bass. Alright, this is gonna be like a two bar, like a 2 second bass. And that will only be in existence for about 2 seconds in the actual main lick. That's certainly interesting, ain't it? There we go. So the reason why that worked is because I spread the harmonics out huge with the 16 amount, and then I compressed. Or I didn't really compress. I basically moved the center of the sound really low, so that when the note plays, it's actually playing a super duper low note. But because it's an even number ratio of 16, the harmonics are arranged in such a way that they will coincide with the original fundamental tones area, but they're still spread in such a way that's not normal. And the like things like this, the unison pitch amount is being spread along the original harmonics position, but those harmonics that have that information applied to it are now someplace else. And we brought them back, and it kind of made it work. What's weirding me out though is that there's like a weird LFO to it. Like the pitch is different instead of being stable, which should not happen. It would if I did that, but because I have the static on, I really don't know why it's doing that. What if I... Maybe it's the kind of distortion I'm using. Don't know why it's doing that. See, it's a static sound. It's like it doesn't know that's a static sound though. It's like it doesn't care. Whatever. It's kind of a cool sound. I could do some things to it. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do patcher. So basically, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add high frequency distortion to it in some interesting ways, and that high frequenciness that I'm going to do is going to have some pitch effects on it. Because like I always say, the way to do resync is to have pitch effects, distortion, pitch effects, distortion, pitch effects, and basically just layer it on there forever until things sound cool. And that's what we're going to do. This is one of those layers, but it's kind of going to be a little bit on top of everything because I already have like the sound itself is kind of neat, but what this is kind of just like a bit of an additional sort of thing. Make the choruses something interesting, just different, lots of things that are different. No stereo though, don't need that. These get compressed together in the Maximus. Now, the compression that I use on synths is not as straightforward as when I do something on drums. This is sort of just like a to taste kind of dealio. So already enough bass going on there. Someone texted me. Whoa. One second. Someone important? Old phone. This is wonderful use of my stream time, don't you think? Smiley face. Send button. All right. That is very interesting. I'm not totally sure what's happening with the sound, but hey, it's neat. Should I increase my voice volume? Like, is the mix good? Is the mix good? Voice? This is my voice. Is this good? Someone says increase my volume. I wonder why, but okay. Mix is good, and we're doing it. We're doing it. So this one. And I'm kind of into D. We were doing F, but now I like D. Ah. I'm gonna make a smooth version of that though, like I actually wanted to initially, because for utilitarian purposes, it's somewhat important. Everything sounds out of tune to me all of a sudden. It may very well be, but I'll deal with that later. Let's do like 5. I like 5. Kind of like a permanent porta, because I actually have porta engaged, but because the beginning little movement of the unison channel, it's creating that kind of porta E sound. Am I in thirds right now? I am in thirds. Let's go back to half. There we go. I don't know why I offset that like that. Let's move the pattern over. And you're going into the sidechain channel because you're bass 2. This was not compressed, so it's all quiet. All right, let's make some higher frequency content. Some dupes. Not GMS. I don't care about you, GMS. Let's do some dupes. Pitch. And just for fun. Pew pew pew, hence lasers. Most generic pattern known to man coming in. Probably not going to keep that. It's probably not going to be the final sound, but I just don't want to focus too long on that. And the dupe also gets sidechained. Dupe. Sidechain. Let's go back to the original bass for a second. We'll lead into the next bar. Yeah, this is how far we get in a song in 40 minutes. Let's do a FM bass of some kind. Some type. Let's do the usual triangle kind, because I want to be stable for the time being, and then we'll go with making changes. Actually, I'll start this one at 32, and then use the second harmonic to be 64, so if I want to go higher or lower, I can. E1. This is going to be a fairly standard sounding thing off the bat, but I could make it something interesting. At least, I mean, I hope I can. That's kind of the idea, isn't it? I do interesting things. Yeah, 3 and 2. And 2 gets the mod. And if you had no idea what I just did, check how to bass 6. I go into extraordinary detail about how to make an FM bass. All right, this is going to be double curve. We'll make a double curve kind of sound. Excuse me? Oh. Ha, yep, I totally just FM the third one by itself. It's not a bad sound. Actually, I can't really be sure if it's a bad sound or not, because again, I'm not listening at full volume, so I have absolutely no idea how some of this sounds. Well, that's really high frequency. Holy shit. Damn, man. Let's make that not horrifying. How's that for your eardrums? That's actually fairly sort of new sounding. Of course, the Y value is not doing anything, and I wonder why that is. Because nothing is actually modifying 2. I wanted it to modify 3, and 3 is being modified quite a bit. Stop it. Kind of interesting. And now the high frequency is not as epic as it was, so it means I can bring this back to being. And such. I actually used to use Sound Goodizer on kicks for metal recording. It would be the first thing I put on kicks, and then I would EQ it after that. It worked out pretty well usually. Oh my god. Jesus. I think I might use this weird FM thing as a vocoder bass. Let's try that, actually. Let's do that. Let's put it in this guy. And then some Vokes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Perennial favorite from me. That's the one? Yeah. So 23 is carrier, 25 is modulator. 23 is carrier, 25 is modulator. 25 is not even right in there. Because I put it in... No, I didn't. 23, 24. 23 is carrier. 24 is modulator. All right, out to a wonderful start. You are in 24, right? Yeah. That could be something. That could be something. This can be a thing. This area can go die. Bandwidth is whatever. Pitch. Sounds kind of evil, don't it? I should what? So Greyhound. I'm confused.
All right.
Oh, are you here?
All right. All right.
24. Also 24. Sounds kind of colored by that. I mean, I did get rid of a giant swath in this area, but that shouldn't really... That's fine enough for now. It's doing the job of being an interesting bass. This is one of those interesting basses I was talking about where I wanted to like have some things that kind of accentuated. Fuck Shuai asks if I'm planning on releasing the Launchpad version of the Connector project, and the answer to that question is yes. Haven't gotten very far, have I? But you know, this is normal. This is about how long this sort of stuff takes. I like that sound. I need to kind of. It's not very tonal. You know what I mean? I need some of the actual bass out of that. I mean, I'm sure it's there, because again, I'm not listening to this at full volume. No, it's not even there at all. And why is that? Because... it's a little better, I guess. Maximus, go. Brr. Again with the texting. Where's that massive peak coming from? Is that actually coming from Maximus? That's interesting, because I can just cut it. Yeah, it's coming from Maximus, alright. In that case, I'll cut it from here. High pass. Starting to regret the double curves. This is starting to be very complexed. Complexed. I kind of want some chords. Like this thing could be a chord bass, a base of chords. Like an ace of hearts, only a base of chords. I like how I accidentally acid based right here. I never do that kind of crap on purpose, but it always ends up happening. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you sometime chords. Let's see what we're in D. Let's come up with a progression. Be the right length. All right. Yeah, kind of like that. Then I can, in the next round, I could start, but that would actually be here, wouldn't it? So it would be. Maybe. And that could be going up into the 7. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 1, 6, 7 of the D minor scale. Cadence Cube tells me to use a D sharp suspended? I forget what the hell the sus means. It's not sustained. Maybe it's sustained? Man, it's been a while, okay? You know, I was in music theory course in college one time. Didn't last very long. 3. 5 is the major third of 3. And what is the 5 of 3? It's F, so it's C, which is the 7 of D. Yeah, that works. And then it's the 2. 2 gets weird because 3 of 2 is the tritone of 1, which is kind of shitty. Could just use a 4 though. I'm kind of okay with that. It's kind of working out. I'm okay. I'm kind of okay with this. 7 C. Let's go back to E and G. Wow, that's like the fastest I've ever done a progression that I'm actually okay with. Levels by Swedish House Mafia. See, I'm trying to make this a 5 chord, but I'm just making it an inverted 1 chord. Because this is the 1 chord, and I just put the 5 on the bottom. That makes it the second inversion. Because there's only 3 notes. It could be 2 versions. Two inversions. But I don't want to do that. I want to have an actual 5 chord. Minor 5 kind of works because it's the 7, the 2. That did it. That's the trick. So this is actually just a 7 chord. Yeah. So this progression is probably going to end up being the B part of the drop. So the A part, the first part, the one that we're working on, is the one that's bass heavy. It's full of effects and stuff. And then the B part is the one that actually carries the progression. So that's what this would be. And then the chord bass that I made earlier, this guy, the accidental acid, ends up being the one that goes beneath the chords. And this would just be the actual just bass notes of the chords themselves. So this dude. The fuck, man? Because that right there tells me that this isn't actually a bass of E. It's not actually a 2 chords, an inverted something chord. Probably an inverted 7 or 6 chord. Yeah, it's an inverted 6 chord. And that's going to be a 1 chord no matter what I do. And it should be a 1 anyway because it's the beginning of the bar, but so. This is just going to be a 1 chord. The chords got to go someplace so they can be sidechained. Like over here, that's the, yeah. No manual. Window that you couldn't see because it's not the one that Expo's looking at. Oh, I guess you can see it. Huh. Could use work. Yeah, this guy needs work too. compression, and also primarily I want to stereo center the bass in this because it sounds a bit uneven. And in between there'll be like interesting bass. The more interesting basses. There's like a hierarchy of how interesting the basses are and what they could be used for to do. Similar philosophy that I followed for that last dubstep track that I did that was featured in my last How to Bass. If you haven't heard that yet, you should go watch that video because it's informative. And it's full of stuff. Probably put one of those chords in there. Let's try the 6. Maybe. This is getting... I think I might just extend this section to be a bigger vocody moment. Sometimes too much of it gets a little annoying, but make a like a pitch movement here. That's okay. Well, right now, all this is pretty much just okay. Also, these chords are not very stereo right now. Let's reverberate. Alright, so the changes I made to the bass is making it off sounding. Okay, that's just compression problem. So now we're coming to the part where I actually need to make a master chain, and this is when I do similar things to how I did the compression on the drums. The split for the bands are actually going to be almost exactly the same. And then the goal is somewhat similar, only the settings I'll end up making aren't going to be quite the same because I don't need them to be the same. And we can see peak differences in the bass and just the sub. We actually want them all to be together. Now, this isn't the bass, like just the bass band doesn't need to be crushed super hard. It just needs to be related to itself. Like all the levels need to be kind of similar, close, but they don't need to be massive. They don't need to be like all 0 dB all the time. That's not the bass's job. So now we have our usual compression, kind of issues, which is we push it too hard, and then it sounds weird because the transients are engaging in compression pretty much all the time, and the release is too slow, so it sounds weird. We can move the release time back a little bit, but it's still gonna have that kind of compression mud to it. This is where the soft saturation module in Maximus comes in great handy. This, by the way, is transient shaping. And this is when I'm basically noticing huge problems in my entire mix. Primarily the kick sounds. going to listen to this on full volume for a second, and it's going to involve me not talking for a moment. That actually sounded kind of awesome. Not going to lie. I'm kind of enjoying that. So this is good. It means that the direction is at least working. The sort of stuff I did just now to change the color of how this thing sounded was mostly to prevent mid-range level compression artifacts from happening. Wub 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 wab wab wabby wants me to do a trample transition into dubstep, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to copy this over to the next part of the these 4 bars, and I'm going to make tiny adjustments to it to make the sort of the sound move. I'm also going to change which chords I use here. Which chord? That one. That's what I want to go to. And that's the other one I want to go to, which is... Okay. Maybe I want to do the opposite. I'll start with this one and go to this one. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. Actually, that worked out nicely, huh? I didn't really expect that to happen. I'm going to use the same sample, but I'm going to reverse it. Just to create some... difference in the overall vocoding, but I'm also going to change these. I'm going to make it unique first so I don't mess up the original instance, because I kind of like what it was doing. Sure, why not? But also different MIDI. Let's do that too. That bass under the chords is still causing issues. Or it's just the chords. Kind of dicked it up a little bit. This is why when I usually make the chords that go on, or the bass that goes on the chords, I usually want it to be completely static. So I have kind of an idea of what's going on now. What I'll do now is I'll copy this over here. This over here. And this is still... Yeah, so what will happen is that this is going to be the A drop. I'll do something big here in this section, like some kind of big transition. And then this will largely repeat, and then there'll be a bigger transition over here, probably over these two bars. And then it'll go into the B drop, which is the melodic progression of the whole track. And then that's basically the two drops. Actually, it's one whole drop, the A part and the B part of that one whole drop. And then what'll happen is that there'll be, 32-ish bars worth of intro, and then there'll be the drop, and then there'll be 16-ish bars worth of, well, there'll still be 32 bars of mid. There'll be like a fall and then a rise, both being 16 bars each. So, like, this is intro, this is drop, this is fall, this is rise, and this is drop again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, drop again, and then I'll end it some way. I usually don't know how I end things. I don't really care most of the time, but then there'll be a copy of this. It'll be largely the same thing, only there'll be different tweaks. And then during like the second half of the B drop of part 2, the B part of the second drop, I'll do something even bigger and crazier, maybe even introduce a new bass sound that is unique to that section. It's kind of what I did in the that dubstep track I'm working on. That's largely what'll happen. But this is the most important part because it sets the tone for like the whole thing. I'm actually gonna make an ARP because that's usually something I do. When I have a progression, I'll show you a fun thing you can do. So you have these chords, right? And I'll go to a new channel. Find first empty, unsorted. Add a harmor because I do everything in harmor. And then I'll post these chords, and then if you hit Alt L, it automatically legatos all of the notes except the last one because there's no other note value to get to. And then if I hit Control G, it'll glue the same notes together, so they're all linked like so. And now, if I go to ARP and turn on for a bit, it's an arpeggio that follows the progression, and that makes things easy for me. I might change it a little bit because some of that was weird, but for being procedural, that worked out kind of nicely. That happens when there's too much of the same note happening at once. Actually, it's happening because there's too much of the same note. So E, I'm gonna make E I'm just gonna take it away. Another fun thing you can do in Harmon is if you keyboard track the filters and then you filter about, no matter how low the filter is, there'll still be some notes happening. You'll still be able to hear the notes because they'll just be the fundamental frequency of that note. Also, if I harmonically protect it. And then in the actually, here's a fun thing. This is actually something I did in the dubstep track. I automated the speed and the gate of the ARP. that sped up just for a second, but it would come back faster because it spent too much time being too fast. Probably over here too, but I'm not going to wait for it to get that far. So now, I use the arps and the drops, but I tend to keep them pedal tone. That's not what I meant. Keep them the same. They stay the same progression. They stay the same, like usually just the root kind of thing. But I did kind of progress things in the drops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did with that with the chords in the first time. For the first instance of making the arp, which was in the melodic drop, the part B of the drop. And I'm actually going to do that same thing for the chords in here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to copy these. I'm going to bring them down to over here, and this is going to merge them all together. Bam. And now I can do the same thing that I did for the first time, which was let's find the first step, the arp. Here they are, and then Alt L. This might work. Nope, it didn't work at all. I'm gonna have to do that individually. Wow, I really didn't remember that before that time, huh? That's whatever. But I could use it to inform, I guess, my decisions in terms of where the arp should be. Because that's because the bass doesn't actually follow the progression, because it goes right back to being D. Yeah, this is the 6. So this guy should actually be the 6. Actually, this guy came back down the wrong note. And this is the wrong position. Screwing up my songs. How To by SeamlessR. The rest of these are fine, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, check it out. I haven't actually saved this project yet. I should probably save it something. I'm gonna call this Stream Electro. Yeah, terrible, because that would have meant that no backups are being made. Even though I have autosave engaged, it can't actually save anything if you don't save it first and make it a project that it knows what to call things. So that's what that was. All right, we're about done. We got about 8 minutes left before I'm gonna call this done. Let's start doing questions and stuff. Who's got questions? Y'all are talking about producing stuff. It's good. I like seeing people, seeing people learn things and producing and doing good stuff. Launchpad thing. LMAO producer guys asked if I could resample a snare and turn it into a supersaw, some kind of cool pluck. And the answer is yes. Can I make Gay Whales a label? Absolutely not. Will I upload this? Yes, I will. From how to 10, how gangster are you? 4? Not very gangster. Launchpad. There's not a lot of news regarding collaborating with Savant. We have talked about it, and we both sort of voiced interest in doing so, but we have not had further contact, as he's a very extraordinarily busy individual. Flatpan wants to know what exactly was wrong with the kick drum when I first listened to it in context, and I thought it was terrible. The mids part of it, the part where if you look at the spectrum on it over here, basically this area here, the beginning of the fall, like, because the kick sound is, especially electronic kick sound, is created by pitch shifting really fast from a pitch to a lower pitch. The lower pitch is usually where the main bass of the kick is, but it begins at a higher level, and that higher level sounded bad to me in context. So I turned it on a little bit. Caden's Cube asks what's the news with the BT Collab remix. Well, the South Builder remix that we collaborated on is done, and that's going to go out at some point. That's pretty much up to Celtor's label as when that happens. A track that we're actually working on is not done yet. That will be finished soon. Remix Metallica. Pendulum already did that. I'm pretty much done with that much happening. People keep asking me about Launchpad stuff. Am I going to do the snare thing? I guess I'll do the snare thing. Why not? It's going to be fat. It's a fast sort of thing. Dirt. Let's get a snare. Let's use the one. Let's use that one snare that I'm always using. Groove snare 30. Oh yeah, that happened. There you go. What other questions we got? There's a group or something. I have no idea about headphones. I haven't used headphones in forever. The last pair of headphones I got were Sennheiser 280 HDs, and those were like from 6 years ago. That was back when I lived in an apartment and didn't have a studio or monitors, so that's what's up with that. Okay, people are gay wailing, and it's about 7:30, so I'm gonna call this the end. This stream will be uploaded to YouTube like the rest of them, so people who weren't there can enjoy the majesty of me flipping around with basses for an hour and a half. That was, I guess this was informative. I got farther than I did with the other one with that Make Us Track from Scratch thing I did on YouTube. That got farther. And then we have a snare plug. How cool is that? All right, saving this and then disabling the stream. I will see you guys next week every Saturday at 6 p.m. EST, -5 GMT. Yeah. Have a good day.